Surviving the Survivor, we bring you the best guests in all of true crime. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. Here's your host, Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, Joel Waldman.
What's up, FCS Nation? Welcome to another episode of Surviving the Survivor. It is the podcast that promises to bring you the very best guests in all of true crime, large part thanks to Steve Cohen, who is here, Mead Moen, whose lens looks a little smudged. Looks like
I don't know how it's still smudged. I've got the new display.
You look like a Barbara Walters
No, but-
filter. You look like
you don't think it's because he's sitting against the light like that?
Yeah,
That's
it could be where I'm
Karm.
sitting.
Already off the rails, already unhinged, and I like it. This is going to be a quasi-serious, not really show. Obviously, a big Merry Christmas to everyone, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa. I said before, there are people, it's very difficult during the holidays for some, and that's why we are here to, I guess, entertain, for lack of a better word, because I can guarantee you this is already out of control, but I'll try to rein it in. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Steve Cohen will leave the final or the opening final word to the matriarch, but what comes to mind on the comes to mind on the on Christmas Eve, being a Jewish guy now living in South Florida.
Right.
Hanukkah, what are your thoughts tonight?
Well, one thing I definitely think about, and I mean, I don't know how where you grew up was probably not as Jewish of an area as I grew up, like where I grew up in Long Island. I mean, it was a very Jewish area, like it was. And I remember when I was in college, I had a friend who, one time we were playing basketball and he's like, "Don't you have any friends or know any people who aren't Jewish?" And I was like, there was a couple of Italian kids or Greek kids. There was a black kid in our school, but I'd say it was 80 to 90% Jewish where I was. And there was we could take Hebrew in a public high school if we wanted to, but one thing I definitely remember about was I remember when I was in TV at CBS, I remember doing an interview with Franklin Graham, who was the evangelist Billy Graham. He's a big evangelist. And I remember it was around this time and I said, "Hey, happy holidays." And he looked at me like with three heads. And I was kind of like, why don't I just say Merry Christmas? I know he's not celebrating Hanukkah, and I think I become more open to that just in general, obviously, it's not a Jewish.
You were taken out of the ghetto.
Look at this.
Yeah.
My friend Anna Lee Finch, a friend of the show, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas with
very
a super
nice. Thank you.
Steve Copperhorse from New Jersey, one of our amazing mods, wishing everyone. Steve Cohen, I'll defer to you on this one. Joel, Stephen, Karm, how do you spell Hanukkah? I don't think Karm knows how to spell it unless it's in Hungarian.
Well, I know that there are many versions.
Yeah, many versions.
Steve, which one do you go with traditionally?
I usually go with the CH.
And with one K, correct?
Yeah, like Dave Ehrenberg the other day was wishing us all happy Hanukkah, and he's a smart guy. I mean, smarter than you, but
yeah, definitely smarter than me.
Yeah, smarter,
This is how I argue that Joel is the smartest.
Ooh,
what's that?
His wife is Ileana.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But even a blind squirrel gets a nut. Like it's a lid for every pot, as I'm telling myself. So
look at this. Look at this. Martina, Joel, people have been here for hours and drinking, I think. Welcome to everybody. It should be a festive time during Festivus here. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so grateful for the work you do. Happy holidays. So thank you so much for the super chat, Peacekeeper. Thank you. I can't help. I can swear in Hungarian, Karm. You two bad actors, start writing them out in chat, and I will. I know a couple myself because Karm is an expert cursor and best in Hungarian when it comes to that.
Best in the category.
I'm so glad this came up just now. Look at this. Happy holidays, Karm, from our friend Kouri by the lake. Has your fugitive neighbor returned? Before you answer that, Karm sends me this article today in the Miami Herald. It's tough to tell. I'm getting a cruise ship horror as passenger dies. See that Miami Beach doctor was charged with sex trafficking a minor. Then she was found dead. A horrific story. And this guy also lives in Karm.
I saw that story. Yeah.
So you've got the doctor who was sex trafficking, and mysteriously the prime key witness in the case ends up dead. And Karm, and then the Alexander brothers, who we're going to talk about in a second, their friend Ohad Fisherman just got back from Japan. What's it like to live in the detention center east on the water?
No. Let me clarify something. Being that I have the inside scoop because I live with him, figuratively speaking. He came back and turned himself in and was let out, as opposed to the Alexander brothers who were not let out on bail. He was let out on bail, and about 3-4 months ago, I bumped into him with a bunch of friends, and he was telling me that he was getting married. So this was his honeymoon. And
this is the Alexander brother, not the doctor who.
No, this is the Alexander brother's friend, the Ohad, and Ohad is out on bail, and his mother-in-law. This is how clever he is. His mother-in-law put up the bail.
There you go. That's what mother-in-laws are for. But Karm, let me ask you a question. Of the two soon-to-be convicted felons, who's nicer, who's more charming? The doctor who appears killed off the key witness, or this guy, Ohad Fisherman? This is your friend.
Don't call him my friend, because it's a very difficult level. You have to be on a certain very difficult level to be my friend, to be called my friend.
You know, in Miami, it's a fine line between an Hermes bracelet or a gold handcuff that appears to be on his right hand. So, but Karm, Karm, here we go. Here's a comment that resonates with me and with you from S. Ray. Karm, we're going to Catholic Mass tonight. We'll be thinking of you and the sweet nuns who saved you. Steve Cohen gave us his 2 cents. It is Christmas Eve. It is Hanukkah Eve. What would you like to say? By the way, Black Widow, it is Christmas Eve in the Republic of Ireland. I wonder if Black Widow had a drink tonight in honor of the holiday out in Ireland, where I think everyone drinks. Karm, what is your word of advice or wisdom on this holiday evening?
Not only did the nuns save me, but the Catholic priest came in just to be on the safe side and proceeded to do a conversion of me, and my name was Anna. So I am almost certified.
There you go. All right, well, let's kick this off into high gear, and since it is Karm's neighbor, well, let's just start with these guys, and then you just saw Ohad Fisherman. This is definitely a story of, we're looking back at some of the true crime stories, the big ones of 2024. This broke late in the year.
Late in the season.
Late in the season, yeah. And this again lives in Carmela's building. As a matter of fact, a little story. We had dinner, the kids, my wife, and I, with Karm on Friday evening, and I'm looking at Karm's mail, which I often do, and I see a real estate car with like a photo of a beautiful building in Miami Beach, and who is
that they put in everybody's mailbox.
And who's the realtor? It's this guy, Ohad Fisherman, with his cell phone on there. Karm, when you heard about this, these are a friend of the family, this guy, and then these 3 handsome brothers. By the way, I've heard just the most awful things about the father. Maybe this is where they got it from. Literally just
speaking.
Karm, what's your take? How did 3 nice Jewish brothers?
I didn't even know that the father was. But I could have if I.
What's up, McSpunky? Go ahead, Karm.
Hi, McSpunky, Mr. McSpunky. Anyway, what happened is that. What do you think? You think they just became like this and they didn't have a coach?
They learn. It's Steve Cohen. Curious to get your take on this. You and I commiserate. We're kind of both the losers of our families. We went into media. Your sister's a high-powered attorney. I've got a sister that's a doctor. But this family, the dad has to say my 3 sons are soon to be convicted rapists. So I think relative to that, you and I look pretty damn good. They do have a 4th sibling. Some say they're estranged. Others say they are not. What do you think went wrong here in this very disturbing story? You think it was the father who taught them this?
Maybe. I mean, I think it's funny because, I have his friend Shantae, and he would always say, I'm the white sheep of the family. And
isn't that like a rap song from the early Shantae, or is that Shantae?
Oh, there's a song, Shantae, who did a song called like Roxanne, I want to be your man, and then they were like rap battles with them. But my friend Shantae, you probably at one time, like he's our age, you probably would have, very funny person. You would have, you would like him, and he was in TV. He was at Channel 2 with me, but very funny person. And but I digress. I think the other day, Karm, you would be proud of me because I was talking to your son, the artist known as Joel, and I was telling him, dude, just because you're not the best doesn't mean you have to feel the worst. Like comparison's the thief of joy. Like we're doing very well. He's got a great family, as you mentioned. He outkicked his coverage with his wife. God bless her. Yeah. God bless him. But I mean, obviously there's a lot here with these brothers, like there's seemingly, horrible people. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, like I'd seen the story, then we covered it. And this particular one, I haven't got into it as deeply as you have, but it's not like, it doesn't surprise me that, like that they have a dad who is a really horrific person and they grew up entitled and misogynistic and abusive. I mean, I was kind of couldn't believe, like in his yearbook, one of them had a reference to gang rape or, and just, and we had a nice podcast with you and Rob D'Amico and Leslie Dobson kind of talking about how, like looking at the psychology of them and just being sociopaths and narcissistic, entitled, think you can buy everything. But it's horrible, and hopefully they get justice and the people they abused get justice. But I feel like they never had any boundaries, right? Like they did stuff, they were entitled, and they either paid their way out of it, and they probably, as the expression goes, were playing in the dark for a long time, and they finally bumped their heads, right?
Yeah. There you
go.
May
I ask you, Joel, in a very, very brief paragraph, what do you know about the father? Because I never heard about the father.
The father and the uncle. The uncle is actually the head of Kent Security, but the father is a big investor. It's a big private security firm that they own. But the father is allegedly a big real estate developer, which is how the brothers got into. Now, this is a friend. Originally in the media, he was described as a cousin, but I've confirmed that he's a friend to this guy. And then these are the brothers, but the father is apparently a big real estate developer, like every person in Miami, I think.
Allegedly.
Being a big real estate developer in Miami is like being a pigeon in New York City. They're everywhere. But anyway, apparently he's not a good person, and he's not a good person to the wife, from what I understand.
Oh, that's right. This is what we wanted for that.
Yeah. So Karm, now this guy, he's out. Your neighbor is out.
Tell me about him. So he's Karm's neighbor, and he's
Mr. Charming. He's Mr. Charming. He has two adorable little dogs.
Karm.
So, and
Karm.
the dogs everywhere. It's like it's very weird because we are all like in our 80s or 70s at best, and we are all sitting around, and he's the only one in his 30s walking around with these two dogs. It's very kind of out of place. You know,
Yeah.
if you were a kid and say which one doesn't match, he doesn't match with the environment. But he's Mr. Charming to the little old ladies.
By the way, I'm constantly worrying, Karm, as you know, and the current
Yes, it's
worry,
wonderful.
it's not what I'm usually worried. The worry I have right now is that people are going to think we're making light of these stories. We're not. It's a holiday night, wanted to be here
Not of
together.
all the stories, just this story, because so far it is again too close to home, no pun intended. It's literally in my building, part of the thing, and then beginning to think that I'm living in an incredible building, but probably every single building has a few crime stories.
Robert here letting us know this is a whole other story that Karen Reed case could be delayed. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. I honestly, I have PTSD.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
I have PTSD. Steve wants us to cover it. I don't know that I want to cover it. I'm just, it's such a toxic environment there.
Which is this is the Massachusetts running over in the snow.
Yeah, well, now you're gonna get Karm's gonna get hate mail
Robert,
now.
let us know, like
allegedly, always
to cover that story more. I mean, we did a little bit. We did quite a bit of it, and I wasn't getting the vitriol that Joel was getting, but Joel for a while was a piñata, and everybody else wasn't blindfolded. And I don't know, I have my thoughts on that case. I mean, I have a hard time, and you could address mail to surviving the story with Gmail, courtesy of Joel. I have a hard time believing like all of those people were that conspired in that house. And
both of you guys are getting doxxed tonight. First, Karm said she's the one that did it. Now Steve is questioning.
Exactly.
No. I didn't mean that she did it. I just wanted to give a telegraphic description of where it was. I'm so proud if I can pinpoint that it was in Massachusetts. But I know. And by the way, I saw that Vinny Politan on Court TV. He has a disclaimer at the very beginning. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. And
court of law. That's true. It is true.
Court of law, and this is, we respect the Constitution, and we respect human life and all these.
It's the bedrock of the Serbian Constitution. Karm. Exactly. From Zoe here, we got the A team tonight. The COE will pop on at some point. She has serious FOMO right now. So thoughtful to bring us all together. And look at this. Thank you, Genzo, and appreciate that super chat.
Oh my God, Genzo, you are.
Yeah. And then look at this. Karen collects. As a cradle Catholic, we 100% claim you, sweet Karm, as one of our own honorary Catholics. You are a perfect example of living a beautiful, faithful life after having your life saved by Catholics.
Two Catholics, but the only part that we'll have to kind of work on is the cursing. I don't think it's very Catholic or Jewish.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Mary Ann Karm lives in Serbia and watches us from Serbia. And she says, Steve is witty, saying rhymes, and then takes issue with Joel's not the best. In what universe? Steve Cohen, would you like to address that? She's questioning.
Yes. I'm saying how you address yourself, your self-talk, and Joel is like, I'm living here in Miami, and this person is this, and this person has that. And right, as you know, right, Carmela, happiness is not getting what you want.
Listen,
you know this. You know what I'm talking about. Back me up here.
As of yesterday, I changed. I am never saying a negative word, even in jest, about Joel. So I cannot comment. I'm sorry.
Look at this. Marilyn Gardner, been looking forward to this. Thank you. I'm a disabled nurse, and I have tons of time on my hands. If you ever need help with looking up info and want to help, be careful what you ask for. Marilyn, email us Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave, email us survivingthesurvivor@gmail. I can always assign homework. I'm happy to do
Take
this.
down my neighbor. I looked at him long enough.
So I just want to get back to him. So number one, we said it, by the way, Got Donuts. She's a real character, Got Donuts, up in Toronto. She's one of those people where it rains, but she walks between the raindrops, like my friend Ernie Anastas. Got Donuts is living the charmed life, which is a great thing. So, Karm, you told me off air that this guy you described the dogs differently. I won't embarrass you. But you described them as a slang term for female anatomy. And now, look at Karm. She's all upset that I'm outing her on national YouTube.
I'm word of honor. It's a senior moment. I don't remember what I said about the dog, but the dogs look very effeminate for a big, tall guy. These two little, tiny, little fluffy dogs, not even chihuahuas.
It's
Now
such
everybody with chihuahuas.
It's such a Miami thing. But Karm, when you before knowing what you know about him now, what was your impression of this guy?
Word. I thought he was like a bizarre occurrence. He looked like a very wealthy person, the grandson, son, and he himself is comfortable. That's how he looked, because otherwise, why would he? All the other young people in the building are at work during the day, but since he works in real estate, he's around during the day.
Space Coast appreciating Karm's.
He's charming, and I'm not saying this to cover my derriere.
Yeah, you hear that? I mean, but Karm, you're a therapist, so what is it about charming narcissists who then prey on women?
Sell houses by being charming.
What I mean, do you think he lures these women in, these brothers too? Do you think they lure them in with the charm?
Our guy in the building.
I know, but I'm asking about the brothers too.
Oh, the brothers are crass.
Well, Karm, let me ask you about the brothers. So here they are again, and then we'll move on from this story.
A number of people, and it's a sheer coincidence. One of them is a gym teacher I know very well in the building. Her daughter went to school with the guys, and she said already in high school they weren't nice people.
But Karm, let me ask you something. What's at the core here? These guys have money and looks and everything else. Why do they get off on doing this to women, in your opinion? Is it a control thing? Is it a power thing?
I really believe that they want that power. It's almost like it's like what is the word when you have, for example, it's like not a fetish, but what?
It's an aphrodisiac, you mean, or just like
no. I think that they have this aberration. They have this I don't even know what the word would be, and they are twins. So they have this way of relating to each other and thinking alike, because not necessarily genetics, but because they are together since they were born. Yeah. And they egg each other on, and they know they can go into a bar and get a woman the right way. They know that.
What about entitlement? It seems like they've been entitled their whole life, but there's other entitled people that don't go out and do this. So why do they do this?
I don't know. The entitlement is like many of us have the entitlement. We have the entitlement of having a car, and your entitlement to.
We're all going to talk over each other. Steve, you're trying to get a word in.
All I was going to say is I agree with Carmela. Like sometimes it's nature with people. It's the Talmud says that some men steal because they're hungry. Some men steal because they're a thief. And like we saw this, Joel, in TV with a lot of these people. I mean, it's where they were sexual predators and they abused their underlings, and you're kind of like, why are you doing this? Like, you could get other women, you could do it outside of work, and it has to do with power and entitlement, or maybe they enjoy it. I mean, there's a degree of probably sadism in it where like you enjoy seeing people.
It was a game. Also a game. Yeah. Like, the bored poor little rich boys with their game.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're talking about little rich boys, let's pivot to the probably one of the more current stories, and that's Luigi Mangione. Karm, this is fascinating. I wish I had the other photo that I sent to the COE today, but I have to ask you off the bat. He's wearing the same outfit that she's wearing. What do you make of that, Karm?
Wait. You cannot say that because it's inside language. Our people don't understand what he wore the exact same outfit as his attorney, who you see in the right corner of the.
What did I say? Didn't I
You
just say that?
I said he and she without
Okay,
the.
so he's wearing the same outfit as the attorney. Now, let me tell you what's fascinating about this, and you can Google this. Lee Harvey Oswald
Joel sent me the picture.
What did you make of that? If you Google Lee Harvey Oswald, there's a famous picture of him being ushered. I don't know if it was in a court or where.
No. That was, may I say, I watched it live on television.
Don't date yourself, Karm. Yeah, please.
Well, it's reality.
COE, I texted you that photo. If you want to bring it up, if you can find it.
They were carrying under his two arms. They were holding Oswald, walking him into the police station, and this guy Ruby,
Jack Ruby
jumped out from the side and shot him and killed him right as he was provoked.
Yeah. So here it's hard to see here, but I'm going to try to do it.
And you know who Ruby was?
So look, this is Luigi Mangione, Steve Cohen, right here. You see that?
Yeah.
And now look, this is the Lee Harvey Oswald perp walk. They're wearing very similar sweaters.
Oh, wow.
Everything about it is similar. A collared shirt, a sweater.
No, but you did. You know what I observed? That the guy on his right, holding his right arm, is wearing a light suit, and the guy on his left side is wearing a dark suit.
That's very, very perceptive, Karm. If you can see that here, they're almost like identical, almost like there's some sort of hidden meaning here. Karm, have I become paranoid like you?
Oh my
Steve
God.
Cohen. Steve Cohen,
yeah.
Do you believe in conspiracies and conspiracy theories?
I don't believe in the Lee Harvey Oswald, but I do believe that Karen Friedman Agnifilio is savvy enough. She's a foreign prosecutor there, is really bright, and does look. First of all, he's not wearing an orange jumpsuit, and I do think there's a degree of normalizing him. These people have been, she's been doing this for 30 plus years, was a top prosecutor there. She's intentional with what she's doing. He is, and I think, yeah, for sure. Like when you and Carmela dress the same, don't you say, hey, Mom, I'm wearing that sweater, take it off, I don't
think Karm and I've ever dressed the same, but not that I know of.
Yeah.
And by the way, Leo Wren letting me know that the photo has been colorized, but I will say it's strange. But who knows? I mean, maybe Steve's right, and Karen Friedman Agnifilo sort of planned it out. But
that is not so strange. That may be like we had one of the best guests. I don't remember his name. He said that a defense attorney is like a play director. He has to think of how the guilty person walks in, and how he sits, and when he takes notes, and what he wears, and so forth. I have to tell you just a very tiny little thing that I noticed on those standing pictures.
Yeah,
that Luigi is wearing this nice sweater and white shirt, but on his feet he's wearing orange slippers.
Orange prison slip or jail slippers, I should say. Karm, let me ask you this again. You're the therapist here. 26-year-old, he goes to Penn, which I did not get into, and I'm still angry. And he goes to Penn grad school, which I didn't apply to because I wouldn't have gotten in. And he's from a family of great wealth.
You got into Cornell.
Yeah,
I'm on the campaign to say positive things.
Listen. So what went wrong with this guy? Apparently, he had, just because you have money doesn't mean you have happiness. He comes. It sounds like he had a strained relationship with his family.
Yeah,
Do you think? Do you think it's a possible mental break, a schizophrenia kicking in at 26, or is this just like the Alexander brothers? Is this just an entitled young man who took things way too far?
The Alexander brothers did horrendous things, but stopped short of murder.
Mm.
And I don't say it's better, but it stopped short of. I think, speaking of black sheep, which you weren't, he might have been the black sheep. He might have, in that family, I don't know how many children there are, but his parents are not showing up for him.
Yeah, they're not showing up now. He has 2 sisters, I believe, and then him.
And the mother sort of, in that, when she was looking for him, when she told the police, she sort of implied that she wasn't really surprised that he had some issues and that he disappeared.
Elf wants to know, how is Fred? Karm, what are your thoughts on Fred and Ethel? They both love you. They both are ecstatic to see you. But you have
Joel, I'm only going to say positive things.
No, but tell
sleeping dogs sleep.
You feel that Ethel is got a sweeter, like deep down, she's got
he wants to free Luigi.
a more Are you
joking, JT, or you are seriously want?
I think JT is probably serious. We get a lot of these with free Lu. Karm, what about that? What about that aspect of it? That he's almost like a folk hero. People are looking up. 24 women showed up at court to watch him in person. And then there was people who were supporting him outside. What do you think of that, Karm, for a guy that killed someone in cold blood? I'm still getting email. I'll get him tonight saying, this CEO killed people by denying coverage. What do you say to that, Karm?
I always say America has 330 million people, if not more, right now. And there are all sorts of people with all sorts of opinions.
Karm, I have to stop you. Happy holidays. I appreciate the hard work of everyone at STS. From Kim, every show was excellent and better than any of the major networks. I have to catch most STS shows on replay, but I never miss one. That means the world to us. Kim has a cute, fluffy dog, and traditional media is dead. Steve Cohen, I'll get back to Karm. Weigh in on the death of legacy media, please. It warms my heart.
Yeah, I mean,
he likes to listen to that.
Well, as I've told Joel many times, when I feel like for us, as people are trying to really build something here, and I'm excited about it, you're on the right track when you stop looking back, right? Like, you have to just keep moving forward. And when we were doing this, even as legacy media is not, it's just continuing to decline, successful people embrace change. But I do think it's very, very clear. Like, we were reading about News Nation, and we love them, but they average 135,000 viewers. Or you look at the numbers, or certain people look at the election. It was much more impactful for the candidates to go on quote unquote new media. Not that, like Joe Rogan's been doing it since 2006, or, Call Her Daddy, or, some of these other platforms. But I do think, you're seeing this. You're seeing Hoda Kotb deciding to move away because they're not going to pay her what they paid her, or other people just not getting renewed because they're paying them a prohibitively high amount of money to do it, and they're not getting the eyeballs. And it's always about, content and distribution and what you're getting. So I'm not sure if I feel, jubilant about it, but I think that either way, we have to move on. And it is inspiring, like, all jokes aside, like, look how much your Carmela is doing and adapting and doing new things, so we all have to do it. And, you know, the other day we had that event with Ruth Markel and Dave Aronberg. And at dinner, we had some bright people there, and Joel was also there. But we were just talking about. You said you weren't saying nice things about him, but I didn't. I didn't.
By the way, speaking about nice things,
Yes.
COE, are you planning to put any elements into this show that I'm looking at in the that I'm looking at? I don't see anything backstage, COE, so it's tough. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Thank you to the Turner family, friends of the show. They're sponsoring today's giveaways. 3 people are going to receive e-gift cards. I've never met the Turner family, but they're incredibly generous. And I don't know how else to thank them other than to say thank you. I think they have a place near us in South Florida, and I would love to meet them. I would love to meet them when they're here. So I would bring up a photo, but I don't know what the COE is doing. But let's pivot like 180
I was just going to quickly
degrees.
just
go ahead.
Like
Steve.
just about what I was going to say. Like I remember like when they like New York Magazine was profiling Chris Rock, and he said like this was probably 10 years ago, and he talked about he talked about how he wrote a script for Saturday Night Live, and it first said something like taxi, and he changed it to read Uber. And he said, like, you have to evolve, and, made it more current. And he was praising Joan Rivers for evolving, and for like he mentioned, like maybe Phyllis Diller never evolved, but Joan Rivers adapted and seemed contemporary. And, Martha Stewart's done it to good effects. But and so for us, we adapted. We didn't, we're saying, okay, if this is where people are going, then we should do this. And we're not sitting there, pulling our hair out or just perseverating in an older place. And I think you're happy now, like we're getting to control what we can do. We're getting to have more agency, and I don't know, I think we feel more empowered. And, you've said this a number of times about feedback from people like, the Turners, or millions of people that not millions, but tons of people that we've gotten to know that we wouldn't have had this connection otherwise. So it's been great. Ned, I am in Florida right now, and it could be lighter. I could do a better job with it, but yeah.
Don't worry, the sun's going down. By the way, got to wish all the best guests a very Merry Christmas, including our very own R. Timothy Jansen, the letter R-O-U-R. Tim had the Christmas party of the century. I think the COE is going to be able to bring up some video. I'm not sure what happened to the COE. She is MIA in the MIA.
Children too.
One of the sweetest people you ever meet right here, Canine Catherine from Maui. And she's very generous. She has sent stuff to my kids and is a very, very kind person. So thank you for that. Ned Smith gifting 5 Surviving the Survivor membership. So Karm, let's do a 180 degree. We're talking about handsome, young, demented men. Now let's talk about middle-aged, once, I don't know how to describe her. Lori Vallow. She is, we'll do Tim's tour in a minute. Hang on one sec. But so Karm, Lori Vallow, convicted in the murder of her 2 children. She's going to be going on trial, and she's actually going to be defending herself in the murder of her ex-husband, Charles Vallow.
No attorney?
Correct. She's going to be doing it. What do you think? That's it's going to be, I mean, it's part of our Constitution, but it's going to draw tons of media attention because you basically have a lunatic defending herself in an open court. What do you think of that, Karm?
I think it's a very dangerous thing, because she was condemned for life, correct?
Correct.
But in Arizona, she can get the death penalty, correct?
I don't think it's a death penalty case, to be honest. Someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. There are so many cases, but I don't think death is on the table in Arizona. I could be completely wrong.
Well, then
thank you, Rachel D.
Then she can put on any show she wants to. Nothing nothing worse will happen to her. It's like my joke about the guy who was very, very poor and went into the pool and put all his clothes on the side of the pool, and he had nothing else but his clothes. And while he was there, somebody stole his clothes, and people thought he would kill himself. You know this story?
No, I actually don't. I don't know the story.
So people were horrified that he would kill himself, because now he cannot. He was wrapped in a towel and had no clothes, and he started to dance with joy. And they said, "What's wrong with him?" He says, "Listen, things from this point on have to get better. They cannot get worse." Yeah. So that's the same thing with Vallow. You know, if she cannot get the death penalty, what does she have to risk? A little performance. She was wasn't she once in a beauty pageant or something?
You're thinking of JonBenet Ramsey, a little bit younger.
No.
Oh, I don't know. She may have been. I don't know.
No, I don't think.
Judy Sullivan. By the way, Mom, who do you think killed JonBenet Ramsey? She's not on my list, by the way. She's
you did not put her on the list. I was sweating.
Well, she's like the true crime story of 1990, whenever.
By the way,
97. Yeah.
By the way, Karm is right. Lori Vallow was in beauty pageants. So
look at
Karm 1, Joelle 0.
I hate to be right all the time. You know
exactly.
What?
Look at boring. Look at this. Judy Sullivan. STS will have 200,000 subs by June 25th. Thank you to STS Nation. Honestly, the way to get there is if you all can spread the message. I mean, who would not want to have this on Christmas Eve? 3 people talking about basically nothing and a little bit of something. Whatever you guys are doing, keep doing it. STS is absolutely my go-to YouTube place. Thanksgiving was a scream. Special love to Karm. Thanks, Elfs More. We appreciate that. All right, so Karm, before we get to Tim Jansen's Christmas party, it's a mix of true crime, holiday spirit, and reflection, and maybe a little bit of neurosis and pessimism.
You have to tell people speaking, and it's also remembering the victims. And
100%.
And 2 days ago, Cohen, Joel, and I went to have what would you call it? Honoring Ruth.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was was really Ruth was speaking. The title of it was Meaningful Conversations.
And I'm dying to tell you what she was speaking, because it's very interesting.
Tell them. But before you do that, Nikki Cuds, my friend of the show, Karm, you've met her. She was at our New York book signing. By the way, if you haven't heard, I have a book out, Surviving the Survivor, about my mother. Mostly her yelling at me. Available anywhere books are sold, including Audible, and right now on Kindle for $1.99 through the holidays. But Nikki Cuds, wishing my favorite pod.
Joel.
Yeah.
Would you write a book when I'm all positive and supportive and kind and patient and never say any critical things about you? It would be probably like 1/4 of the size of the book. It would be like a little bulletin.
Yeah, it'd be really boring, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll be Dad's book.
Be a pamphlet.
Yeah.
Look, so she wants to know, Karm, who do you think killed JonBenet? You never let her finish, Joel.
Well, you know what happened? Joel gave me a list of 10 names that he will bring up, and he always does this. No, nothing negative, not intentionally. He never put in this one. I know it happened. The mother is dead.
Yep. She died. Well, a lot of people think it could be one of the parents and or the brother. But it seems like there's heat on the case against Steve Cohen. By the way, someone did say that soon Steve Cohen will be sitting in the dark. That'll be funny, though. We'll just see the glare of his glass.
No, it seems lighter now. I put some light on. I don't know.
Steve worked in TV news for 25 years, but doesn't understand the concept of lighting, obviously.
You were very funny.
Analytical Blarney giving us the answer here. First degree and premeditated, no death penalty.
He's dark. You're light, he's dark.
Yeah, by the way, Lori Vallow was up from Miss Arizona. She was
Okay,
Upper Miss
sorry.
Arizona. She was also on Wheel of Fortune. A lot of people have been on game shows like Wendy Adelson, Donna Adelson, Lori Vallow, a lot of other things. But Steve, we got to stop talking over each other. It's my fault mainly.
Yes.
Ned Smith,
is your friend.
I get jealous when Joel calls someone his friend. Am I sick? Yes, you are, Ned, and that's what I love about you. Steve Cohen, who killed John Bonet?
And we should have the director of that new documentary on, Paul Berlinger. Let's just, because it's brought up, it's gotten a lot of attention, and perhaps John Ramsey, and I remember doing that story. I honestly don't know. There's like so many theories and so much time has passed. I really am not sure. It's one of those stories. I don't even want to speculate. But yes, we've heard perhaps the brother, or like an itinerant person who was there, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's look at this. My friend Phantom 6000, Karm. He's an attorney in LA. Happy holidays to SCS crew.
He's on the wanted list. He has a good end with that.
By the way, he was he may have played professional tennis, but he's an excellent tennis player. And you know what he does, Karm? I'm allowed to say this, I think. He manages fighters with his law degree, which is like my dream. A real great entertaining show despite Joel's boring and monotone delivery. I didn't even see that part till just now. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Phantom 6000, happy Hanukkah to you. And my pal Nathan Hockman, he got mad at me because I called Nathan Hockman uninteresting. I was just saying it because his monotone style of talking. I love him. Kendra, again, we obviously saw this comment earlier, wanted to know about John Bonet. Before we get to Tim Jansen's Christmas tour of his house.
About Ruth's, it was interesting.
Yeah, so tell us what. Go ahead.
I'll do it abridged and simplified. Ruth, this time, last year we talked about different other topics when Ruth was part of the panel, but this year she focused on what people do, self-talk, when we are completely alone, just with ourselves, each of us with him or herself. What are the things we say to ourselves? And it's nothing new or nothing unusual, but it's a good thing that she brought it up, that we do a lot of self-deprecating, tearing down talk to ourselves. And no wonder then, like Joel says, he had a bad dream. I told him before he goes to sleep, if he thinks of positive things, he will have a good dream. If he thinks of negative things, chances are better to have a negative dream. And altogether, as much as it's something that we all heard already a million times, and we know that we should change the tapes we are running in our heads. That's what Ruth talked about. I think she herself admits it, that she got help to work on this, because she has sadly more bad tapes. People who were victims have many times more bad tapes running through their heads than other people, but everybody runs bad tapes in their head. So this is my preaching for the evening.
And by the way, the bad tape that I'm running is that you interrupted me to make this comment, yet everyone's like, I think there's hope for you interrupting Karm. Maybe you get tips from gorgeous Peter Tragos, who finally got better at not interrupting his dad on lives. But even if you interrupt me, I'm going to get hate mail tonight saying that I'm rude to you and that I interrupt you too much.
Joel, if you saw a young, strapping, healthy, energetic, vigorous young man and the little old lady, who would you protect?
Annie K says John Bonet was off by a family member. I tend to agree with this. There were no tracks in the snow. I lived in Boulder then, and she was at my school where I was an occupational therapist. That's interesting. And then look at this. It's always split. the Ramsey family is innocent. Before we get to some other breaking Christmas Eve news, Karm, do you know who Kouri, Kouri Richins is? Kouri Richins.
Oh, yes, I prepared.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on her without going into every detail of her life to show us that you did prepare?
I think she's one of those psychopaths. I'm sorry to give it a label, but one of the things on one of your programs that I reviewed, they showed her interviewing about on television about a children's book that she wrote the first year after her husband died, and she has 3 children. And allegedly, I don't think that the trial happen already? No. I have it written down. Hang in there.
I'm planning to go to that trial, Karm. It's sometime in the spring. While you're looking that up, shout out to Aysagal Aksu, who comes to us from Turkey, Karm. She was watching from Turkey. Steve Cohen, what do you think of a woman who is accused, not convicted, but accused of poisoning her husband with 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl?
Okay, the trial is in April.
Oh, look, she just cut you off. Nothing will happen.
On purpose, because I
it was helpful. It was helpful, Karm.
Thank you.
Yes, you're well-intentioned. I'm not going to demonize you for being helpful.
Oh, you are already doing the same thing I'm doing with Joel. You're doing with me.
Rachel D, you're Rachel D. You're a friend of the show. Steve Cohen, we're going to get to it right now.
I think obviously Kouri Richins is a very troubled, disturbed person, and we've had Sky Lazaro, her former attorney, on, and Greg Skorda, some of our best guests. And sociopath. There's a lot of messed up people. We cover
Steve,
a lot.
We got scooped here. Look at this. We got scooped.
Oh wow!
We got great news that lawyers for Sarah Boone are going to be on ABC News and The View on Monday morning, January 7th. Of course they are. Of course.
But that's okay. No, I think even though it's somebody whose name rhymes with mole, offended the Sarah Boone's lawyer. So, you don't point the finger, point the thumb. Say, I
forget how did I offend him? That's what a journalist is supposed to do.
You were in court. You did an interview with Ashley Banfield, and you were saying something about something, and he was mad. So
it was that he played
the music, and I couldn't. But James Owens, you can come on January.
No, there was a story that I mentioned on
now.
Yeah, there's a story that he was being paid with the rights to her story, and I just reported what was being reported. Oh, look at this, Bella. I'm all alone at Christmas, so this is nice. Karm, any words of advice to those who are alone on this holiday?
I have a secret for you, Bella. So I am also all alone on Christmas, Hanukkah, and so forth, because Joel is going on a little trip. But I will try to occupy myself, and I'm going to make a soup and stuffed peppers tomorrow.
All right. Well, without further ado, this is Tim Jansen's Christmas. Steve Cohen is in a bunker.
You should prepare us psychologically. You should prepare us, Joel.
This is Tim Jansen. COE, you run the show here. This is okay. Let's stop for a moment. That is Tim Jansen's guest home. No, that's his house and his pool. It's a little bit bigger than mine. He's got the gold jacket on the left, and obviously the house
Those are his beautiful daughters and his beautiful wife.
Yeah, I should have become a criminal defense attorney. Obviously, his daughters, his wife Steph, Annie, and I'm blanking on the other daughter. Do you know, Steve? I'm just blanking on Annie.
I know he told me.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Okay, so COE, we've got some video too, right? Tim Jansen, everybody. This is his home Christmas party.
Be prepared to be shocked.
Oh, that's it?
The theme is a carousel. No. You don't have the inside?
COE's got it. Let's hit it, COE.
Walking into the house, Christmas carousel is a theme this year. As you can tell, walking up to the carousel on the outside. And we're going to go to the carousel. The horses are here. Looks like a carousel. Don't forget to get your tickets. And we're going to walk into Magic Carousel. We're going into the house. This is study.
Look at all these. Those are nutcrackers.
He is doing it too
Christmas
fast.
Carousel. Everything is amazing.
This is wild. They prepare for like 3 months, and she keeps this. The wife Steph at like a warehouse. That's how much stuff they have.
Joan Rivers said she was very jealous of this.
Of what? Christmas decorations?
All these beautiful
Walking
stuff.
into the main dining room.
Who else does the best true crime of 2024 and Tim Jansen's Christmas party? You know, we are. I'll say
We
this.
have to
Steve
go next
Cohen.
year, Joel. We have to go next
We
year.
do, but Steve,
Karm,
we're what's the word, like multi-dimensional? Like
Now
we
we're going
cover it
into the
all.
kitchen.
Yeah, versatile.
We are like a true circus family because in the circus they have multiple tasks. They throw
By the way,
fire.
what
The flying
what?
Walendas.
Yeah, we are the Boldmanites.
We're 3 Jews covering Christmas Eve at Tim Jansen's house. This is
No,
only
but
in
it's
America.
beautiful. We don't have
Like Irving Berlin.
And we're
White
videotaping
Christmas.
Joel, his daughter,
It's amazing.
Wow.
from live in Tallahassee, Windsor, photographer extraordinary. Ty.
You did better than last year.
Wow.
Best ever.
Sparkle, say hello.
Sparkle.
this house is fabulous, even
Beautiful.
without the decoration.
Yeah.
But even the toilet, did you see? The toilet was decorated.
No, and Mrs. Jansen, Stephanie, does an amazing job.
We're
It's-
coming into the game room.
They worked for a month. So.
And look in this room,
Yeah.
we got the young people. And that's my oldest daughter, Janie.
Janie, that's
Carlson,
it.
And my youngest,
Annie and Janie.
No drink in hand.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
They are in coats, even in Tallahassee it's cold.
There it is. Karm, I should have been a criminal defense attorney. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the Joan Rivers joke about envying?
No, I'm sure I have, but go ahead. What is it?
No, I will kill the joke, but it was very funny.
By the way, right in front of that pool is like a lake that extends for, a mile or two, a beautiful lake there. So it's got the pool and the lake view. And Tim's a great guy. I'm happy for anybody. I'm happy for Tim Jansen. Moving along, we've talked about, okay, Karm, this is another one. I did, again, ask the COE for some elements I don't see, but hopefully they'll come in there.
Stop it.
She'll tell me that she's momming hard tonight or something. It's always something. Karm, who is Rex Huerman?
He's the Whatchamacallit Beach serial killer.
Accused,
I
alleged.
Alleged. 7 times alleged.
Karm, what do you make of him? He's 6'6".
He's an architect.
350-pound monster of a man.
In depth, but I wonder if he did it with his wife or without his wife because of that hair. That's all I know.
That's a great point. Steve Cohen, it's a strange family.
Allegedly, always allegedly.
Steve, how far did you grow up from Massapequa Park?
I grew like 10 minutes from there, 15 minutes,
And did you know Rex?
I didn't, we know like 3 or 4 people. Billy Baldwin, is from that. The Baldwin brothers all went to that high schools, and Billy was in his class. My friend Chris Ullman was in that class, and knew him. It's like I imagine they do something comparable in Long Island. In New Jersey, but like when you ride the Long Island Railroad, you go as you're going east towards Massapequa. there's Merrick, Belmore, Wantagh, Seaford, then Massapequa. So it's a few. Jerry Seinfeld is from Massapequa. Joey Buttafuoco was from Massapequa. So they have some notoriety over there. You know, Jerry Seinfeld, I just said, yeah, is from.
Amy, Karm, let me
Amy
ask.
Fisher grew up two houses down from my parents.
Karm, do you remember Joey Buttafuoco and Amy Fisher, Karm?
Yes, I remember.
So there
was murder in that story, right?
She was shot. She was shot by him, right?
No, Amy Fisher was 16 years old having an affair with a 35-year-old auto mechanic named Joey Buttafuoco. And she just was a teenager and just, you know, she drove over to the Buttafuoco home and shot Mary Jo in the head, and it didn't kill her, but she really affected her and did time in jail. That was really a very big tabloid case. I remember there were 3 TV movies on about that at one point.
Yeah.
Including like Alyssa Milano played her.
Yeah.
And I remember
Hold on, Steve. Breaking news. The first giveaway winner.
Oh, good.
One of my favorite names, Purple Coconut. COE, what does Purple Coconut get? She'll type it up, I guess. COE, why don't you come on camera? What are you doing?
She looks so beautiful. And I'm not guessing. Sometimes she looks like, well, she looks so nice.
Sometimes she looks like what, Mom? You just got yourself
tired.
Steve Cohen, as you drift off into darkness, we can only see the glare of your eyes.
That's not true. Don't exaggerate. You're having a seance by you. It's like you're just as dark.
Steve Cohen, speaking of dark, it doesn't get much darker than a serial killer, an alleged serial killer.
I think you're more interested in serial killers than I am, personally.
Yeah, and how come? Why are you not interested?
Yeah, I guess.
Steve,
I remember when like Netflix had the Zac Efron movie, you know, like playing Ted Bundy, who are obviously, you know, Kerry Rossum's dad, the BTK. Like you were even before we pivoted into true crime after doing the Markel case, you had Catherine Ramsland on, and so you've always had a latent interest in this area. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously these people, John Wayne Gacy, like all these serial killers, Charles Manson, do get a perverse kind of thrill from having, you know. So
can I use humor without people misunderstanding it? I'm doing it only for laughs.
Yes.
You don't like serial killers because you like novelty. You don't like repetition of killing after killing after killing after.
Karm, on a serious note, let me ask you, what is wrong with Rex Huerman? Do you think he was born this way?
No,
do you think Karm, I want to know. This guy is an accused serial killer.
Sadly, not everything is distributed evenly in every human being. And sometimes you can realize like the Alexander brothers, you realize that the father was already bad apple and they learned the behavior from him. But sometimes it could be just a combination of different things and unexplained. You know, I'm not
breaking news, giveaway winner number 2, Cooler by the Lake, who's actually very cool. Cooler by the Lake, winner number 2. You guys have to email.
How does she decide it?
I have no idea. You have to email the COE at survivingthesurvivor@gmail.com. Surviving the Survivor. You know, at the Ruth Markel event, shout out to Michael. He was asking me and Bruce how they become YouTube members, and I had no idea. I don't know how to use YouTube. I just have a show here, but I told them to reach out to the COE. Rachel D here. Joel switches to Mattel. We'll up our game from Fisher Price. By the way, the camera's still broken. It's cost me dollars in chiropractic fees, but eventually we'll get it fixed by 2027. It'll be fixed. Karm, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this. There's a lot of people with horrific upbringings. What makes this guy want to speak out? Let me finish the question. See, now no one's gonna yell at Karm for
I
interrupting me.
forget.
No
I
one.
forget that the
The
other
question
people-
is,
I know the question.
so why is he obsessive? I have some tendencies at times to be obsessive, but why is he obsessive? Like they say that serial killers, the only thing that they're thinking about is their next kill. Psychologically, what happened to this guy? Dad would laugh right now, by the way. He would laugh.
No, because there is a very interesting concept that we all have to accept, even if we don't like it, is that there is such a thing as free choice. It's very hard when you have compulsion to fight the compulsion, but you still have the you have free choice to fight your compulsions. We are not so pre-programmed that we cannot change. So it's for some people it's very, very, very hard to change, and some people it's easier to change. And I think these serial killers, or they don't even try to change.
Look at this, Karm, from Louisa. Shout out to Sao Paulo. Your Karm's son-in-law, her favorite son-in-law, her only son-in-law, is from Sao Paulo, right, Karm?
Right.
Have you ever been, Karm?
Not in Sao Paulo. I was in Rio de Janeiro.
The third and final winner today, Jean Sadin, or Jean Sadin, but I would go with Jean Sadin. Congrats to Jean Sadin. Steve Cohen, here's another one. This seems to be a theme at STS. Murder for hires. Of course, our original one is the Dan Markel case, which you brought to our attention. But now we've got a very similar case out of Jacksonville with Shanna Gardner. Her estranged husband, Mario Fernandez Saldana, and she are accused of hiring a guy named Henry Tenon, and he is admitted to it as being the trigger man. He cut a deal. He will be state's witness. This is a woman like Wendy Adelson, who comes from wealth, privilege. What is going on here, Steve Cohen?
I think that people try and put their own hands, and when we tell people about the Markel case, I'm frozen. I'm back. Okay, good. But when people are like, why would they do this? Like the other night at that event, I think it was Bruce who said, who runs a very good podcast called Locked On Hurricanes, and I thought he's a family lawyer himself, and he said, well, the Adelsons had money. Why didn't they just get an apartment in Tallahassee or a place there? Like there's 100 different things they could do, but people don't think they're going to get caught. They think they're smarter than other people. They think they're entitled. They think like the rules don't apply to them because they have money and they could do what they want to do. Or they're just so consumed by hate, as we know, like the Adelsons, what do you think, Joel?
I think that it's a combination of money, power, stress. It's like they wanted Donna Adelson had to have the boys in Tallahassee under any circumstances and would go to any length. By the way, I'm absolutely convinced that Wendy was a part of this.
Absolutely.
Come at me, Wendy.
Allegedly.
You had breaking news. You had breaking news when we were there.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh yeah. Let me share that. Thank you, Karm. Black Widow is now drinking Guinness in Ireland, where it is, I want to say about 11 p.m., maybe later, midnight. I think they're 6 hours ahead. Oh, look at this. This makes me feel much better. In a psych class, Karen Furlong says a professor said that when family members talk over each other, it is a sign of a loving family. We must be madly in love with each other.
I was so afraid that the end of the sentence would be, it is a sign that earlier or later they murder each other.
Yeah. So a little bit of breaking news. This is not, this is more intuition than actual news. But Dave Aronberg at this event told the audience that he had a conversation. Go ahead, Karm.
You have to insert first that he was getting an award And who else got the award?
Yeah, Dave Ehrenberg was getting an award for being a phenomenal prosecutor, and Georgia Kaplanman was getting the Assistant State Attorney of the Year award. So they were both in the same place.
Which
And of
is
course,
like thousands of people are running for that. Thousands of people.
someone please send me at least one email yelling at Karm for interrupting me, just so I feel good. Instead of them all being the other way around. She just did it again. Anyway, and again. So Dave Ehrenberg was at this event with Jack Campbell, who's the state attorney for Leon County. And long story short, he said that reading between the tea leaves that they are going to go after Wendy. That's basically what he said. Am I correct, Steve Cohen?
Yeah. He said, like, if Donna's convicted, they're going to go over, everybody who's involved in this. And he strongly implied, if not outright, said Wendy,
Karm, by the way, I forgot to acknowledge Henchy Held is in the chat from Jerusalem. It's getting late in Jerusalem. I know that's a country near and dear to your heart. Anything to say to Henchy?
Lately, they don't sleep. Every single night, there is a supersonic missile coming from the Houthis in Yemen.
Was there another one recently?
Yesterday, last night.
Wow.
I don't know if they had one already tonight.
Karm, I'm going to leave this open-ended. We're just looking. We went from Shanna Gardner right to this. Melissa here, 100% Wendy was involved. Do you think Wendy was involved, Karm?
Yes. Not cleverly, very, very cleverly. This is how she was involved. She egged them on like crazy. Her mother and brother, she egged them on. She worked them up. She sort of started the whole process. And then she walked away smelling like a rose.
Look at this. Did you know that Joel wrote a book? I bought both the Appear, meaning the paperback, and the Audible. Karm voices the Audible. Karm, a question that came up at the Ruth Markel event was the man all the way on the right. By the way, Karm, I lost my father and your husband, and I feel like there needs to be a moment where I just weep and fill a Home Depot size bucket with tears. That has not happened yet. I'm numb. Am I potentially a serial killer that I am numb to my own father's passing? The only one who's more numb and more serial killer like would be you.
I knew you would say it.
But am I on, like, is something wrong with me that I have not I guess properly wept? I have had a couple of moments, but is something wrong with me, Karm?
Well, it's never too late, because I lost my father in 1944, and I remember as if it were yesterday. I have a picture where he's holding me when I'm a baby, and one day I looked at that picture and I cried like that.
You don't
so
see
it's never too late.
You don't see.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to do what Ruth Markel said, to try to give myself pep talks.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Karm to cry on the show. Let it all out. Julia Rock, finally, Karm, stop yelling. It says, thank you.
Thank you,
Julia. I'll send you
that for my son.
I'll send you money. Steve Cohen, this is a case that you brought to us. You were dealing with some personal issues. It resonated with you. How about your thoughts? Do you think Wendy was overtly involved in this, or more of like a side player?
I think she was overtly involved with this. I also think the sky is blue and Christmas is on December 25th. I think that she, yes, I definitely do. I think, why is she speaking? Why is, we could go on, and I'll probably offer about 95 fewer reasons than our friend Carl Steinbeck, and Merry Christmas.
Shout out to Carl Steinbeck. By the way, Steve, am I allowed to reveal that Carl Stein? Can I say it?
I mean, I think he's talked on his channel about he's gotten married, and to the beautiful Leslie,
Yeah, and you met them, but the
I met
catch
him in
to
New
the
York. Yeah, I think he posted it. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he posted something
So-
about it. I met him in New York because Leslie, is as brilliant as she is beautiful. I mean, I'm happy for him. There's hope for all of us who are single, and you could find happiness. And so, that's an aside. And that is one of the things as we get close to the new year, like I think we should feel happy for, just all of the people we've met. So many good things have happened from when we started working together. And I remember that first call, our mutual friend Adam Wilkin felt suggested you call me. And I was concerned that like I'm a people pleaser and I was gonna like, I knew I could help you, obviously. But I think you had something, and to your credit, you guys really, really worked hard, and the last key opened the lock sometimes, but you were searching, you were looking at brand experts, you were checking with music, you were just kind of iterating. So I'm proud of you and how hard you work. And even in a day like today, you tape something at 1, you have a lot to deal with. But what do I think? I mean, I think that you and I both come from similar families, as the Adelsons and Markells. And I think that's probably what attracted us to it. What appealed to me about it was I was going through a very tough time, and I felt like, wow, it could have been that much worse. And, I took solace in how Ruth, handled it, and how, we're all not alone with dealing through adversity and having to encounter some really evil, manipulative, horrible people. And it's, and I think like I probably experience what a lot of people do in viewing true crime. You look up all the reasons why people are interested in true crime. You want to see that there's justice. You want to see that there's morality in the world. You want to see that the iniquitous are going to get justice, which is what has kept people very involved in the Adelson case. Like I knew, or the Markel case, like I knew it had what people in broadcasting talk about are the 4 C's, like comedy, consequences, conflict, and characters. I knew that 10 million people or whatever watched it on Wondery. So if we could peel some of those people off, niches would lead to riches, broad, narrow focus would yield to broad results. But I personally was very interested in it. I couldn't believe when you watch these things that they weren't being met with justice. And I shared the indignation of some of the other people, we've been fortunate to meet covering this case, be that Fancy Fiction or Mentor Lawyer or, Kathy Kool-Lady or Patty's Play, like other people who are just kind of like, hey, or Judy Sang, does a fantastic job, who are saying, hey, this is awful. When you're kind to the cruel, you're cruel to the kind. There's no way she couldn't have known about it. And some of the things that just seem like such a slam dunk with it. Why is she speaking to her brother for 18 hours on the day, her brother's murder? Why is she going to the crime scene?
Yeah.
Just all of that stuff over there, I just think incriminates her. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Joel?
Yeah, I have no doubt that she's a part of it.
By the way, on a completely different area, I think we should thank all, like I was thinking, Gigi, the lawyer I know.
Oh yeah, Pretty Lies and Alibis.
The lawyer I know.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
The lawyer you know.
Yeah.
The lawyer I know. But I'm going to call him the lawyer I know.
Gigi does a fantastic job.
But what I mean is all these people and the guests.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Organized and
Karm, you bring a good point, but the only person with more ADHD than me is you. So let me just circle back on a couple of things. Number one, shout out to Henchy and
May I
Jerusalem.
say just one more thing?
If I don't get an email on
this format that we have tonight is like perfect for me and Joel and me, because we have attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
So we can jump from subject to subject to subject. And nobody thinks anything about it because we are covering the whole year.
I might weep about that tonight live on the YouTube. And my dad was like the sweetest guy. No one had a bad word to say about him. And he was funny and he was a little eccentric. Like
And
my dad
smart.
was a doctor, and when he read that tomatoes were good for your prostate, I came home to 100 cans of tomatoes. And then he read an article that you can live on baked potatoes, and literally for a year the guy was eating baked
No,
potatoes.
he
Karm,
exaggerates.
you play that down. He literally ate baked potatoes every year. Dear Karm, I've realized my mistake. Merry Christmas, all communities celebrate today. I hope that all religions can only inspire love, unity, joy, and compassion around the world. Very nice. Isagal Aksu from Turkey. But let me finish my stuff because we're all over the place. Carl Steinbeck, his now wife, was an STS Nation member, still is, and that's how she found Carl. She saw him on our show, reached out to him, and as a result of STS, they are now married, and they both left me a beautiful message. So STS Singles is the real deal. So wishing them nothing but the best. People are like, oh, how come Carl's not on your show? Carl's offered to come back. He's been busy. I've been busy, but we talk to each other. Steve's met them in New York.
Yeah, we love Carl. Yeah, and John. They're great.
But Karm brings up a good point. Lawyer had me on. Josh Ritter, Courtroom Confidential. Gigi McKelvey, Pretty Lies and Alibis. Anjanette Levy, Vinnie Politan. I mean, the list goes on. I'm going to forget people. Julie Grant on Court TV. Ashley Banfield on News Nation has had us on. It's a real.
Had you on the other day, Vinnie Politan.
Yeah, Vinny on the
How'd
other
that
day.
go the other day? You guys talked about Hanukkah.
We were just talking about what it's like to be Jewish on New Year's.
Wait a second. Do you think our is better or his? Because he also had like a Christmas party on his podcast.
But he wasn't actually trying to do. He was just doing Christmas. He wasn't doing actual true crime stories. So,
but what was interesting is that we were at Ruth's event, Ruth Martell's, and then we went and sat down and did a little bit with Vinny. He asked us to come on as his token Jews, and then I put I Dream of a White Christmas as a background music. I don't know if you guys know, but it was written by Irving Berlin, and he just happens to be Jewish. So that's one of the most popular Christmas songs, and Vinny liked it.
Yeah. Before I forget, so I told the COE, I'm like, I'm burned out. I need a break. Joanne, why are you saying this? Because it's true. I'm a little burned out. I've been going hard for a long time.
Jeremy Matz is also awesome. Yes.
Yeah, Jeremy's great. And there's so many people I'm forgetting.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Patuto's been helping us like crazy. Ryan Vesio, all these people.
Yeah.
By the way, most important to me, I would say, along with Tim Jansen, Scott Duffy, and the great Phil Waters. Every Friday they come on. America's Most Respected Detective, and STS Shidduch, right here. Cuds, you can run the third channel, STS Singles. Shidduch in Yiddish is like a matchmaking. So there you go. But before,
we need more staff to run that.
Before I forget,
as
Karm continues to interrupt me, before I forget, I did a fascinating. So I wasn't going to do any of these, but I said, you know what, I want to have episodes coming out over this little break. So spent 4 hours today doing a bunch of interviews. They're really fascinating. I spoke to Rob D'Amico, who was with a very elite unit of the FBI, where he deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq. But when you hear this story about him chasing pirates around Somalia, you will see him differently in many different ways. But it was one of the wildest stories I have ever heard. And those guys, you see when he tells the story, and he talks about how it's not about him, but these guys literally put their lives on the line, and it has sort of a sad ending, I'll tell you that. But I also, on a much lighter note, interviewed world-renowned crime scene reconstructionist Scott Roeder and another guy who literally went through the investigative steps. Oh yeah. By the way, yeah, that's true. The investigative steps. Scott Roeder went through investigative steps. What you would have to present in a court of law about that alien sighting in Las Vegas in April of 2023. If you remember, it was a family. The entire family saw something. Oh, thank you, Space Coast. Appreciate that. Nothing gets done without Space Coast, the audio file on the West Coast. By the way, Merry Christmas to Spacey. Anyway, Scott Roeder literally created a report that would be valid in a court of law. He went through every frame of video. I don't know if people realize how painstaking. There's 80 frames a second, and he went through every single frame, and he gives the results about whether or not there were aliens in Las Vegas. And I'll give you a spoiler alert: we are not alone. And when you watch the show, it's pretty wild. And I got to say, I don't know what's going on. And then we've got the whole drone thing going on. Now, Karm, what do you think is up with the drones, please, if I may ask you? You're paranoid.
Don't think they are extraterrestrials. Being paranoid, I think it's something to do with the government or something like that.
Are you worried that it could be something more sinister?
Well, considering my daughter lives right under those
drones,
unmanned aerial vehicles, lives right there in Jersey. I'm a little concerned, but it's not my first priority to be concerned right now.
Karm, someone who I didn't put on the list, at least their photo, mainly because I forgot, is Brian Koberger. Do you know who he is, Karm?
Of course. And you don't ask anymore, why did he turn out that way?
Karm, why did he turn out that way? I mean, he's a graduate student. He's studying criminology. He's intelligent. Why, if convicted, this is all allegations, why, if convicted, why would a guy like this want to kill 4 young college students?
You know what's interesting? That in the antiquity, 3,000-4,000 years ago, there was such a thing as murders and pathological behavior. And
COE, I'm sorry, Karm. Now I am interrupting, but COE, I'm going to need that the 2 things I sent you in a minute. Thank you. Go ahead, Karm.
See, this is why Joel sits sort of in semi-dark, because even during the sessions, he does 2 or 3 different things. I admire that, Joel. Don't misunderstand it.
Karm's kissing my ass tonight because I screamed at her for being too mean to me yesterday. And now she actually, this is Karm feeling guilt. But Karm, look at this. This is your son, Joel. You're the best at breaking news. I mean, Steve, Bugs, and our COE and myself, we come from news. We come from breaking news. So definitely in 2025, we're doing a lot of it. And I'm also going to go with Steve to a bunch of trials. We're going to hit some of these trials, and we are going to crush the competition, even though we're friends with them. And we'll get you guys cool coverage. Look at this. The audio book available on Audible made me cry and love you even more. Thank you. That's very sweet.
Thank you. That's very sweet. I feel more comfortable because I took out a lot of the curses.
Yeah. So Koberger, Mom, why did he go and kill 4 college students?
No, the question is, why didn't he kill the 5th?
Good question. Steve Cohen, I have a mother that can be difficult with me. Why didn't I go and kill 4 students? Why was it Brian Koberg? What do you think went wrong there?
I mean, we talked about Catherine Ramsland, and she was one of his professors at DeSales University, and he really was intrigued and studied serial killers. I mean, I remember 1999, your friend Michael Moore did the documentary Bowling for Columbine, and the conceit of the movie is everybody was like, when Klebold and Harris did all that stuff, well, it's the heavy metal music that they're playing, it's the violent video games. And Michael Moore was like, well, they also were on the bowling team. Maybe it was bowling that did it. So some people have a screw loose, they're off. I mean, we see this with Luigi Mangione, whether it's, he was in such chronic pain, whether it was he was radicalized. I'm honestly not sure, but there are people, like Karm said, there's 330 million people in the country. There are going to be some who have a screw loose. I do think, we live, or you certainly live near Parkland, and when we did that event with Ruth Markel, I learned afterwards how much Sarah Franco, who really was very instrumental in JAFCO, and just helping, with the Markel Act, she was very involved with Parkland. I mean, I do think there are problems with guns in this country, and for sure, you don't see this in other countries, and hopefully
I
there's
mean,
reform there.
I agree with you, Steve. You don't, although, in Germany, some lunatic just drove over people at a Christmas market. But Karm, why is it that America seems to be so much more violent than every other country on planet Earth? I mean, we do have 330 million people, which is a larger population than a lot, but it's not like you see school shootings every day in Switzerland or in other places. So thank you, Darlene. Thanks, SCS. Working 2,000 miles from home this year. Wow, where are you? It's been so fun. Happy holidays, everyone. Make beautiful memories. Thank you. Merry Christmas to Kathy. Thank you for being a member. Welcome. Enjoy the insanity. I was going to pull an all-nighter to work, but Space Coast is doing all the hard work. Thank you. Love you. Merry Christmas, COE. By the way, when we go away, which we are, COE, her family, they're like, her dad's a history buff. So when they go anywhere, they've got to see everything. It starts at like 7 a.m. and it ends at midnight. My family, Karm, please corroborate this fact. We would go to like the Louvre in Paris or something, and my father would sit outside and read a book. He was like, I don't need to go in. I've already seen it. Or we would go, I remember once we were at the Hearst Castle in California.
Yes, I
and
remember.
he was like, I'm going to read a book. So we're a slightly different family. The point of the story is a COE. And my kids are like half me and half the COE, but the COE will just run us into the ground. So when I get back, the point is I'm going to be 10 times more exhausted than I am right now. But that was the point. And by the way, what the COE was saying before too, we're headed south of the border for a few nights. And Rob D'Amico said to me, and I quote, stick an Apple AirTag in each of your pockets. And if anything goes wrong, I know people there. And if they can't get to you, I will. Wow. And he was dead serious. He's an interesting character, man. He's a legit.
I felt better after that.
Yeah. So anyway, the COE actually ordered some AirTags. The problem is it was a 4-pack, and he said to get 5. So I guess I'll sacrifice as the father and be the one who's not AirTagged. COE said, "Is it worth?" It was $100 for 4 of them. She said, "Is it worth it?" I said, "It's a hell of a lot less money than the ransom is going to be." So
yeah, because I made before I changed completely today. I made a joke yesterday that if they kidnap him, the family, and ask for ransom, I'm against going where he's going, so I'm not gonna pay the ransom for him.
Yeah. By the way, our last story is the most important story, in my opinion, at least at the moment. Didn't Joel get sick on his? It wasn't the last vacation, but I did go to LA, where I landed and got COVID, and then no one in the COE's family who lives there, and I'm calling everybody out except Space Coast. No one wanted to get near me because it was still when COVID was a little scary. So I then spent 10 days quarantined in a hotel room, the worst hotel, some crappy hotel on Ventura Boulevard. And I just sat there and drank Gatorade and ate saltines. And that was my vacation to LA. I'm sure something similar will happen this time around.
This is don't leave it on this very sad note.
Yeah. Steve Cohen, on to a story that's closest to my heart. Obviously, the Adelson and Dan Markel, of course, are right up there. But Ellen Greenberg, She is the elementary school teacher, 2011. She's found dead by her fiance. They're somehow allowed to clean up the crime scene. His uncle is. They walk away with phone and iPad and other digital forensic evidence. Again, they clean the crime scene. Case is never investigated. You find out that there's ties to who eventually becomes the AG, Josh Shapiro, now Governor Shapiro, connections to Larry Krasner, who's a district attorney, because Sam Goldberg, the fiance's uncle, is James Schwartzman, a big time. Come at me, James. I dare you. I know 10,000 criminal defense attorneys right now. Anyway, I just find it curious what's happening. And, there was a very interesting mainstream media is now starting to pick up on it, and other people are starting to pick up on it. But CNN just did a very lengthy piece on this, and they actually got a statement that I'm going to read and get Karm's take on in a moment from Sam Goldberg. But what do you think's going on here, Steve? This has gone on for way too long. 2011, and now it's 2025 in just a couple of days.
Well, I think that I think Sam Goldberg's statement was pretty telling. I just don't think he ever acted like somebody who came in and was surprised. I mean, at some point we're going to people analyze the 911 calls. I think that it's very, very, very unlikely that somebody stabs himself 20 times. I just don't see it. And, I feel for the Greenbergs. I hope that we could provide a bigger megaphone for them. I think it's helpful that people like Nancy Grace, who has a book out in April on the case, will get more eyeballs on it, and justice, hopefully will be served for the Greenberg family. I mean, it's a really horrific situation, but it's a real horror show with everything over there.
By the way, I think I can say this, Steve. One of the crazy ironies, or it's a small world stories, is Steve's direct next door neighbor. You walk out of Steve's house to the left in South Florida is Sandy Greenberg's brother. Ellen Greenberg's uncle is Steve's literal next door neighbor, which is crazy. Yeah. And we all need to get more vocal. I love this as a non-Christmas celebration. Woman, Mad World. I'll take it. Someone is asking me, they asked if I've had COVID. I did not get COVID during the entire pandemic, and probably a year after. Since then, I've had it like 73 times, I think. I'm sure I'll get it the minute we land. I'll call Karm and complain. But tonight when I go home, I'm going to take about 1,000 of those airbornes. And that's going to be that.
But somebody put it down. You didn't notice that you should wear a mask.
Yes, I saw that. I don't like masks. But are you planning on following up with God's Misfits? Yes. Karm, this is the group of misfits in Oklahoma who are accused of murdering two mothers over a custody battle. One mom just happened to be along for the ride. Here's a statement from Sam Goldberg, Karm. I'm going to read it. And you tell me, Karm, what your take is on this. This is a statement to CNN from Sam Goldberg, Ellen Greenberg's fiance. When Ellen took her own life, it left me bewildered. Who used the word bewildered? So right there, she was a wonderful and kind person who had everything to live for. This is a 40-year-old guy, by the way, roughly. When she died, a part of me died with her. Unimaginably, in the years that have passed, I've had to endure the unimaginable. Steve, two unimaginables in one sentence. Unimaginably, in the years that have passed, I've had to endure the unimaginable passing of my future wife and the pathetic and despicable attempts to desecrate my reputation and her privacy by creating a narrative that embraces lies, distortions, and falsehoods in order to avoid the truth. Mental illness is very real and has many victims. I hope and pray that you never lose someone you love like I did to a terrible disease and then be accused by ignorant me and misinformed me, people, of causing her death. If you're really writing a truthful story or podcasting, dig deeper, and please do some good by raising awareness for mental health. Best, Sam Goldberg, SG. Karm, the floor is yours.
Well, do you want it to be 3 minutes long or a half hour long?
Somewhere in the middle. I'd like to get your honest take on this.
No, my honest take on this, what he wrote, was very, very dishonorable, because he was victim shaming, and Ellen was not mentally ill. She did not commit suicide. She had a knife inside her heart. How deep? How deep inside?
4 inches. Preach, Karm. 4 inches.
4 inches inside her heart. She had so many revealing things. The way the blood was not going vertical, but the blood was going horizontal. She was seated. She was in the middle of making a salad. She stopped on the way home because there was a snowstorm to fill the car with gas. I think she had major anxieties about the marriage. And for that, she went to a psychiatrist for help, which was a very healthy thing to do. But she wasn't psychotic. She was a very beloved teacher. And he turned the whole thing into blaming her mental illness for what happened. In the meantime, the minute the murder happened, he went over there with his uncle or cousin, one of them. He picked up her computer and everything that he wanted from that apartment. And then he hired a cleaning service that was professionally cleaning up crime scenes, and made them go in there and completely destroy the evidence. And then he did sort of instruct the doctor, what is it called, the doctor who checks that person,
Medical examiner,
the coroner, to change the diagnosis from homicide or not clear to suicide. I mean, the whole thing is a cover up, and everything I said is allegedly.
I'll say this. I don't know that Sam murdered Ellen Greenberg, but I don't know that he didn't. Steve Cohen, someone said that we should get Sam on the show. He has an open invite on this platform.
It's all about him.
Well, let's look at the statement again for 1 second. I'm going to pull it back up, and then I'm going to play you that 911 call. Then we're going to say goodnight after that. But it left me bewildered. When she died, a part of me died with her. Karm, this is something you would accuse me of. The passing of my future wife desecrate my reputation. And if you notice, Karm and Steve, what is conspicuously absent here is any comment that I unequivocally had nothing to do with this. That is nowhere in this statement. Karm, are you paying attention?
Correct. I mean, sentence by sentence, it could be taken apart, and this is his first statement in a long time that he sent to CNN, right?
Yeah, to CNN. But it's amazing because it's obvious someone wrote this, of course, because no one 40 years old uses the word bewildered. I'm sorry, they just don't. And then secondly, it's all about him. And then thirdly, he's projecting everything onto her. By the way, she was found, and this is according to Josh Greenberg, with and the medical examiner, but with varying degrees of bruising on her body, believed to be from an abusive relationship, according to Josh Greenberg and others. So this is something that I am not giving up on. I'm happy, by the way, Nancy Grace has a book coming out on this through my publisher. I don't know if I told you I wrote a book, Post Hill Press. But Nancy has a book coming out on April 22nd about this case, and there's a few big documentaries. Steve Cohen, Space Coast, you would never use the word bewildered. Do you think this case is going to get cracked open now, Steve Cohen, with the intense media pressure that's about to come?
I would hope so. I mean, look at I would hope so, and I was encouraged. Like, if you remember, we had breaking news when they, recently they declared, I think they did not, they declared something over there, Joel, and we had Gavin on, and like Gavin looked at it optimistically. He looked at it as a glass half full. Like they didn't, they did not say it was remember what was the distinction, Joel? It's eluding me now.
Wait, say that again?
Remember, like a couple of months ago, there was a ruling, and
it's giving the medical examiner has what's known as high immunity, so you can't reverse a medical examiner. So they're going to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania just to get the ability to have the medical examiners ruling overruled. Because what happened was they first ruled it a homicide, and then they ruled it undetermined. And then 3 months later, after a closed door meeting with prosecutors, police, and other people, and the medical examiner, they then switched the ruling to an unaliving. So it's very, very suspect. By the way, COE, I know you're there. Hang on one second. Karm, what do you think of the fact that people are watching your son down under? That's Australia, Karm.
It's unbelievable. The other night we had a podcast invited us as guests from Shanghai, China.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and we were on at 8 at night, and they were it was 9 o'clock in the morning in Shanghai. So yeah, this is like global. I always felt we are on a very small planet.
COE, how are you? I saw you there a moment ago. Are the kids asleep and ready for our trip?
No, I was going to say that also in reference to what Cohen had mentioned is that there was that update saying that while they are not moving forward with the investigation, it does remain open.
Yeah, that's Chester County, correct. And it's the first time they've used the word homicide investigation. The guy that's been on top of this, out in addition to the Philadelphia Inquirer. What's her name again, Steve?
Stephanie Farr, who's done an amazing job. She kept it alive. Yeah,
she did keep it alive. Stephanie Farr, you did an amazing job.
It's kind of like Julie K. Brown with the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Yeah,
Her journalism was exceptional. So Stephanie.
Yeah, kudos to Stephanie Farr. COE, another person that's been doing an amazing job on this is Gavin Fish. We've had him on the show. He's a best guest. I have no idea what Karm. What'd you say, Karm?
The mods.
Yeah, but that's not where we're going with this. So we're going to play the 911 call from Sam Goldberg to 911 when he, quote unquote, discovers his fiance. Karm, you need to listen to this and pay attention. I know you have ADHD, but this is for you. COE, can you roll the tape courtesy of Gavin Fish? Please check out his YouTube channel. And I'm just going to, there we go. This is the 911 call, courtesy of Gavin Fish. Karm, pay close attention.
Help, I need everything out. I just walked into my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come. Help.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's an apartment.
What apartment number?
Please hurry, please.
Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell.
So you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie.
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't see where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head, but it's everywhere.
Okay,
it's everywhere.
She might have fallen. Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone. What's the address? No,
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please hurry.
4601 Flat Rock.
Yes.
What's wrong?
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. Like she's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down, and I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Is it on her back?
She's on her back. So I bring her.
Look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay. Do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do. Okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her foot on her.
God.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone until they get there?
I have to, right?
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off. Okay? Kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir.
Okay, I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell in a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
Her what?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
Oh, she stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her here now. I mean, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't. If the knife is in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police, which operator? 277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said 4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Was it her chest or what area?
It's in her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Okay,
how old is she?
She's 27.
27, and there's no sign of life at all.
No, please don't be. What?
Pinch her under her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
Ellie. She's not. Her arm, her hands are still warm. I don't know what that means, but there's blood everywhere.
I know, but you can't. And the knife is still inside of her. How far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything. Okay.
I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this though.
So wait, it was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door. You said latched it shut.
No. I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched.
Oh.
Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside. And I'm yelling, so I'm
was
yelling.
Your house broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here because I had to break the latch, but to get in.
Okay, 4601 Flat Rock, and this is a house, right?
It's an apartment. Flat Rock apartment.
Okay, that'll help.
Oh my God. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Karm.
Thank you very
Karm. That's all I'm going to say.
I have no idea, but we cannot finish Christmas Eve and
Yes, we can. Well, let me say something. I mean, listen, Karm. First of all, the beginning, the first couple of minutes is, I mean, it's so obviously just over dramatized, not real, disingenuous. That's number one.
allegedly.
Steve Cohen, do I have to do CPR after saying? And then it's like 4 minutes into the call, and he discovers that she has a knife that's 4 inches deep in her chest. Like, like if it was in like her, I don't know, like her calf and the back of her calf, maybe, but she got a 4-inch deep wound in her chest.
But Joel, how does he know it was inside her heart?
That's the other thing. And the other thing that he says, what does he say? Right, Karm? Let's see if you were paying attention. What does he say right after he notices a knife? What does he say? Right after he notices the knife, what's the following set of words?
I don't remember.
I think he said I think he said something to the effect that she stabbed herself.
That's why Steve Cohen is high IQ right there.
No, but
he says Yeah, no, sorry, Steve. He says she stabbed herself. That is an alibi. He is creating that. He's already telling everyone how it happened. How does he know? How does he know that she wasn't murdered while he was down at the gym? Anyway, I'm going to let Steve and Karm finish this out. We will end on a nice note, but very quickly, real quick.
Sorry, my bad.
Steve Cohen is working. We're going to do a show right after the holidays. Steve's already working on this. We're going to have a voice analyst and a writing analyst who's going to basically break the statement apart and the 911 call. We'll get experts. Look, he may not have done it, but he may not have done it. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I think I was just to say quickly, like the New York Post did a story 2 days ago, and like that 911 call was at 6:33 p.m. right, and in the hour, but they said in the hour before Goldberg called 911, he sent Greenberg a series of calls, emails, and eerie text messages, according to court records. Between 5:32 and 5:54, Goldberg's last 9 texts to Greenberg included the following: "Hello, open the door. What are you doing? I'm getting pissed. Hello, you better have an excuse. What the F? And you have no idea." So it was, they were having a fight or contentious situation. There's certainly more that they're not telling us. And maybe like it's pragmatic for somebody to lawyer up and say less and not incriminate themselves. But I don't know, it's
Steve, I never heard of this guy, but that means nothing because I don't watch YouTube, but they said Deception Detective is good.
Okay.
And then she zipped her shirt after the knife wound. Again, she was also found propped up against cabinets. By the way, she also stopped. It was a nor'easter that night, major snowstorm. She stops to get gas. She also stops at home. She's making a fruit salad, which is not really indicative of someone that wants to end their life. CO is yelling at me. And then she zipped her shirt after the knife wound, but she's found propped against a set of cabinets, but the blood, as Karm said, is running horizontally on her face, which implies scientifically that she was moved. Her position was moved. But it's not going to be me, and it probably won't be Gavin Fish, but it's going to be everyone together, including these documentary film companies. And, of course, Nancy Grace carries a big microphone. I think that this case is going to blow up in 2025. The family, the Greenbergs, have spent $800,000 of their own money. I just got worked up. I have a headache. Steve Cohen, it is Christmas Eve, Hanukkah tomorrow. I'm wishing your mother health and wealth. I'm wishing your dad
thank you
health and wealth. And for those who do not know, Steve is a twin. He has a twin sister. Yeah. And other sisters, and nothing but the best for Steve Cohen. Steve, your final thoughts here on this. This is your final thoughts on this holiday approaching us.
No, I think it's a nice time. I think your instincts were right about, trying to provide some entertainment for people, during a rough time, like the holiday times. Our friend Collier Landry, talked about like the
Collier Landry.
Shout out to
and no, but he's talked about how it's a tough time for him during the holidays. He lost his mom, and it's so we're definitely hope that we provided a diversion for people, and I'm glad, and for myself as well. I'm glad to be a part of this community, and thank you, and have a great trip. Hopefully. You won't need to worry about those air tags. And Carmela, I should come over for a soup. You know what I'm saying? When the cat's away, the mice will play.
Definitely. You and I.
Karm would love it.
But listen, everything we say.
You two and Ohad Fisherman can have lunch together.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Take a picture of his ankle bracelet. The show has come full circle now.
Yeah, LoJack.
Karm does make great soup. This is true. Karm, you're the matriarch of the show. You're the person that can do no wrong. You're the woman who has signed thousands of copies of books that you never wrote. Oh, Here's my man, Tommy Scoville. Thank you for this, Tommy. We got to catch up. It's been crazy on this end. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah from Tommy Scoville. Look at this. STS is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, but it's all awesome. Probably will be the year it'll probably be the year I finally get diabetes because I'm out of control with my sugar. I've got to start working out when I get back. We try to bring you a mix of true crime and insanity and dysfunction, and we hope it is something that you enjoy. By the way, please share with friends. Karm, you get the final word here, Karm.
I wish I could promise that this new persona that I developed today will last, but enjoy it while it is, Joel.
Yeah, that'll last another 37 seconds. By the way, this is true. Gail, by the way, said she lost her sister yesterday to cancer. So I'm really sorry to hear that, Gail. And it's got to be a very difficult day.
Oh.
Look at this. We are, by the way, in 2025, we are starting a second channel that is going to be hosted by best guests. And I had the idea because I listen to sports talk radio and sometimes political talk radio, and there's no true crime talk. So it will be hashtag best talk in true crime. And Steve Cohen is going to have a show on there.
Yes, it'll be fun.
That's a great title for his show, and he'll just do it in the dark. Because Steve, who was in TV news for 25 years, doesn't understand that you need lighting. Space Coast here. Happy holidays, everyone. Keep your eyes peeled for some pre-recorded shows being posted later this week and early next week. Do not miss the Rob D'Amico one. Do not miss the Aliens one. And then I also interviewed a few retired NYPD detectives. One shared a story. If you know Anna Delvey from Netflix fame, this preceded Anna Delvey by like 10 years and kind of the original New York City Anna Delvey, and he explains that story. But Karm, for the 17th time, you get the final word.
Okay. When I was in the School of Social Work, some professors said, people think that love is like a limited amount that you have, and you have to be very careful who you give it to. But they said it's wrong. And ever since then, I'm so happy because I'm permitted to express love, and I'm not gonna the more I say I love you, the more love I have. And I feel that the STS Nation, don't you smile like that, Joel, because this is really coming from my heart. I love STS Nation, and I love the way they treat my wonderful son. And
what about your wonderful daughter-in-law?
My wonderful daughter-in-law and my wonderful daughter-in-law's brother.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment. I got to do it again. I got to thank the COE. She is the glue. Steve and I have, I don't know if you noticed, a tendency to be a little ADHD and not the most focused guys. So she keeps us on the straight and narrow. You got Space Coast on the West Coast. He really does a ton of crap behind the scenes, including making the audio thing. Steve Cohen is the maestro of booking. He always comes up big. And then you've got the mods, who I never mentioned by name because I'm terrified that I'm going to miss one, but they are the best mods in the business. And as it says over this shoulder, best guests in true crime, but a better community. So thank you to everybody. It is the holidays. Take a moment to be grateful for what you do have. It is a crazy world. Things could change in a nanosecond with these drones. We could all be transported up to, teleported to a foreign land, many tens of millions of light years away. So my suggestion is enjoy this Christmas, Karm, and Hanukkah. What are you going to do as a final word, Karm, over the next 5 days besides have lunch with Steve? Karm admitted that she's going to miss me, Steve. But Karm, what do you plan to do? I know you love everyone in your building. You have friends there. Are you going to hang out with them and play Rummy Q?
I will do things to make myself happy.
There you go.
I don't know yet. It's still in work and working on it.
Prayers going out to all the brokenhearted over the holidays. I've lost so many, and share your pain. Thank you, Susie. I'm thinking of my dad tonight and many others. Love you, America. Love you, South Florida. Love you, the Republic of Ireland, England, UK, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania. I'm probably forgetting a few countries, but you know who
Turkey.
you are. Canada, Turkey, Canada.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Ireland kind of feels like Thanksgiving, actually. So Turkey reminded me of that. Have a great New Year, everybody. See you on the flip side, but we'll have shows coming up.
I know you forgot the aliens among us.
And the aliens.